Hi, I'm Tim, and welcome back to Versus. Today, it's big brand versus boutique brand. Diving GMTs from two of the best in the business. Omega Seamaster Planet Ocean versus JLC Master Compressor Diving GMT. Versus starts now. Omega's Planet Ocean series bowed in 2005 as the technology and price point flagship of the sprawling Seamaster aquatic watch collection. Ceramic bezels and 8500 series coaxial movements arrived in 2011, and today's Planet Ocean GMT was a novelty of the 2013 model year at Baselworld. If the bezel profile and Mercedes hands define a Rolex sports watch, then Omega's equivalent signature is this particular case form. Like most Speedmasters and Seamasters, this Planet Ocean GMT is a study in contrast about its case lines. It is sheer-sided and satin-grained in profile with a polished bevel that flares as the eye draws outboard. Unlike earlier titanium Seamaster Diver 300 meters and X33s, the Planet Ocean here employs the tougher Grade 5 titanium. In addition to its superior ability to take a polish, Grade 5 titanium offers scratch resistance that surpasses Grade 2 and many stainless steels as well. Omega's helium escape valve serves a concrete function for saturation divers, but for most, it's the visual equivalent of Rolex's famous fashion flashpoint, the Cyclops Eye magnifier. In each instance, the flourish either serves to enhance the functional appeal of the basic watch or offends as a bulbous and gratuitous appendage. The Planet Ocean bracelet breaks from the quasi-dress watch imagery of the SMP Diver 300s, but its undulating 3D link form also provides a degree of independence from the 3-link hegemony of the Rolex Oyster bracelet, which too many rival brands choose to emulate to the point of plagiarism. A trigger-actuated clasp inspires confidence, and a fold-out dive extension provides real-world potential for use over thick winter clothes or even dive suits. Imagine that. Wrist feel is supple, venting and airflow are superb, and ceramic pin snaps prove that this time-honored Omega fold-out solution has not stood still. Omega's 1990 Seamasters were the first and probably the most prominent of the blue dial watch trend. Preceding the current fad by about 15 years, consider this blue lacquer watch to be legitimate family resemblance to those pioneers rather than a pander to the pack. As a flagship model line, the Planet Ocean features white gold hands and indices rather than the plated steel found on more accessible Omega ranges. Intense, lustrous, and evenly applied, this Seamaster dial manages to look rich without producing unwanted glare or appearing to try too hard for effect. The dial lume is superb, and Omega adds functionality by distinguishing between minute hand, bezel index, and everything else with differential lume color. Despite excellent feel, lume, and a rich ceramic insert, this is not a dive bezel. With bidirectional action and a 24-hour calibration scale, the bezel of this Omega GMT is designed like a Rolex GMT Master 2. You can read 3 time zones at once if the 24-hour hand is permanently set to GMT. Omega's exclusive ETA-designed caliber 8605 automatic is part of the industry-leading caliber 8500 family that launched in 2007. Here, a 60-hour power reserve is the standout figure, but technology and toughness are the worthy undercards. A silicon hairspring provides anti-magnetic resistance. The still magnificent George Daniels coaxial escapement remains the most exotic mechanism you can buy for under $50,000, and the full-bridge, free-sprung balance assembly ensures levels of toughness on par with a modern Rolex 3235 or the caliber 975 in today's JLC competitor. A COS-certified Swiss chronometer, precision is assured, but the coaxial 8500 and its progeny have proved capable of destroying COSC tolerances since their launch. JLC launched its Master Compressor sports watches in 2002, and a new Compressor diving line of hardcore sportsters bowed in 2007. Today's 1,500-piece limited edition occupied the brief production interval between the Master Compressor diving line's debut and its conversion to the somewhat farcical Compressor diving Navy SEALs line after 2009. Don't be confused, a 46mm version of this watch exists, but today's hero is the better proportioned and more wearable 44mm model. Despite its sheer size, JLC's case is broader and thinner than the Planet Ocean's oil drum profile, and the effect is greater elegance despite its appetite for wrist real estate. The profile includes thoughtful refinements, including stepped lugs, polished lug bevels, and perpendicular satin finish on case band and lug flanks. JLC's compressor crown dominates the overhead view and will become the aesthetic decision point for most shoppers. In exchange for quirky form, the user gains the ability to lock and unlock this 1,000-meter diver in an instant. Gloved and wet hands will gain easy purchase. It's a legitimate alternative to the Panerai crown system as well as screw-down crowns. And color coding reveals locked or unlocked status at a glance. Jaeger LeCoultre offered the world's best diving bracelet back in 2007. This rubber-wrapped titanium piece is warm on the wrist like a strap, but robust like a bracelet, and offers easy sizing with every single link removable on both sides of the clasp. These have stood the test of time. I've never seen one shed any rubber. Finally, 4 triggers ensure that this clasp will remain locked like Fort Knox, and each side of the clasp features a Rolex EasyLink style 2.5mm micro adjustment. JLC's dial is functional above all. A matte black surface kills glare and provides the ideal contrast base for the calibrations and indices. Refinement and character remain present in the details. Applied indices and azure blue accents keep this watch face on the upbeat side of the line between functional fun and grim utility. Look closely at the numeral font and index form, and you'll recognize the design legacy of Jaeger LeCoultre's definitive 1968 Polaris diving alarm. The Polaris may be back for 2018, but this compressor diver proves that the old E859 never truly went away. Unlike Omega, which equips a bidirectional GMT bezel, JLC fits a full Grade 5 titanium unidirectional dive unit to preserve the ISO dive watch credentials of the compressor diving GMT. The mechanical sound and sensation of the bezel is best in the business stuff that evokes an early 70s Porsche 911 RS more than any rival diving tool. JLC powers and empowers its diving GMT with the mighty caliber 975D known as the Auto Tractor. The 48-hour automatic was developed in the early 2000s using lessons learned from IWC's 1980s and 90s experience with JLC 889 autos in sports watches. IWC's experience proved that the JLC calibers were precise but too thin and delicate for energetic sports watch users. The 975D offers a full balance bridge, thick construction, a free-sprung balance, and a hairspring fabricated by Longa and firmly anchored at both ends by laser welding. Unidirectional winding, ceramic rotor bearings, and an improved gear profile called Spire joined the JLC family by way of this auto tractor. Still subject to the Master 1000 hours cased-up chronometry test, the 975D is comparable to the Omega 8605 despite lacking exotic escapement technology. Omega Planet Ocean GMT advantages. A magnificent movement with advanced tech and progressive thinking, power reserve, magnetic resistance, exotic escapement, physical beauty, and display caseback outstrip JLC's motor. 3 time zones at once. If you're a world traveler, this Planet Ocean GMT might get the nod on a practical basis. Omega, thank you for a normal seconds hand. What was JLC thinking? The richness of its dial. This Seamaster costs less than the JLC, but it looks vastly more expensive on the dial side. Omega's watch isn't a true diver, but it offers a true dive extension. The JLC's micro adjusters don't offer this much additional length. Domestic service and quick turnarounds in most regions. Despite the exotic escapement, Omega Swatch services these locally on every continent. JLC Master Compressor Diving GMT advantages. The real dive watch for dive watch purists. Its GMT function doesn't undermine the ISO 6425 diver status. JLC backs that up with far superior bezel sound and feel. Grace. Neither is a Vacheron patrimony, but the JLC's broader case and flatter profile create the impression of a dramatically flatter wrist presence. Pure legibility. JLC boasts bigger hands, bigger indices, and a zero glare dial, minimal glare case, and decisively superior lume. JLC's bracelet looks, feels, and is better than Omega's. It's the Cadillac of dive bracelets. At the limit, I'd rate the JLC 975 Auto Tractor as tougher than the Omega's 8605, and the JLC certainly is more serviceable by normal watchmakers if you intend to go outside factory channels. Rarity. Even without its limited edition status, this one's a rout by the JLC. Every JLC diver is more exclusive than every Omega diver. My choice. I've been an Omega fanboy since my earliest days as a collector and, through Grandpa's DeVille, since early childhood. As an adult, however, my heart resides permanently in Le Sentier. Even better than rooting for the home team out of loyalty, I can name the JLC Master Compressor Diving GMT as today's deserving victor. It's more legible, more exclusive, and more memorable than its worthy rival from the Swatch monolith.